Okay, welcome everybody. T350 show. Let me get my screen clicked up here. Takes a few seconds for it to boot up. There we go. Okay, I got sound and I got video. Let me click this one more time. Okay, and I got questions. I can see who's talking. Steve, how you doing? Thanks. Yeah, we got a nice little studio here. We got a nice backdrop. It's kind of artistic, and we always have a gun or two to look at. In fact, we're going to do a little work on this gun today as part of our show. So, we talked last week. Yeah, we're letting the audience build a little bit, get some people to stop in and see us. Hello, Robert. Archery season opened for us Saturday, and I haven't gotten out yet. I went to, was it Friday, I think, Thursday or Friday, I went out and pulled the stick out of my camera, and I got a bunch of pictures of white, just nothing but whiteness. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? Hey, John, how's it going, bud? How's that little one doing? I saw you got him home finally out of the hospital. It's good news. I took the camera off the tree and took it back home, and I was working on it, and come to find out that it's about a 10-year-old camera, and the infrared sensor is activating in daylight, and it's only supposed to activate at night. So I'm getting an infrared washout in the daylight. So all I'm getting is pictures of this washed out white. In a couple of the pictures at night, I actually had some deer at the corn feeder, but they still were very poor pictures. So needless to say, I put another $90 camera on order through Sportsman's Guide. And if you haven't joined, if you're looking for good stuff at a good price, Sportsman's Guide's a great place to get it. They have a buyer's club. It's 20 or 30, 40. I don't even remember, but you get free shipping on everything, and you usually get $10 or $15 off of an item. I got a $109 camera for $89.99. So, you buy a couple of things a year through them, and their buyer's club is well worth it. So if you haven't checked out Sportsman's Guide, and, it just so happens that we happen to sell product through them as well. So, so I got a new camera on order. I'll get that put out this week, and hopefully get back to taking some pictures and seeing what I got going on out there at the corn feeder. The stock on this gun, Stephen, that's a Mission First Tactical Minimalist. I like it. It's a nice stock. Very lightweight. I went really lightweight for this whole build. This is my 350 Legend. This is my Ohio deer gun. And without the optics, this thing weighs 5.7 pounds. It's got the Faxon lightweight contour barrel on it. It's got a Iron City Rifle Works Berserker light receiver set, the Mission First stock. I wanted lightweight because I'm going to be carrying this thing around the woods for 8-9 hours a day while we're deer hunting, and weight is definitely a factor after that many hours. And so that's what the intent of this was. I'm sure it's probably about 6-point-something pounds with the optic, but still, it's a very light gun, and it's very well balanced. Right now, it's my favorite gun. Whichever one I've recently built, and this was my most recent build. This one actually was in Texas with us. This took 4 pigs down in Texas. Back in July, we went down to a ranch in Texas, and my daughter's boyfriend used this. I used my dad's old 243, but he used this, and this thing was brutal on the pigs. I mean, everything he shot with this dropped where it stood. This 350 is a great round. I can't wait to do a little deer hunting with it. Hey, Barton, Sonny, how you doing, bud? That's one of my buddies that lives just down the road from me. So, last...
Special this week?
Yeah, So last week we talked about Cerakote, Duracoat, Gun Coat, gun candy, hydro dipping, spray painting, rattle cannon, all the different things you can do to your gun. And if you didn't catch that video, it'll be popping here up on YouTube directly, and it's also just a little further down in the feed. And don't forget the Pittsburgh Cerakote, pittsburghcerakote.com. We cooperate. We work with those guys, and if you use the code Bowden10, BOWDEN 10, you get 10% off your entire order through Pittsburgh Cerakote. So don't forget about that. This week's deal is free shipping on any item in the store. We usually have free shipping over $125 this week. No matter what you buy, you're not going to pay shipping on it. So great deal. Save yourself $7, $8. We have flat rate shipping on anything under $125, and free shipping over $125. If you purchase over $125 and still want a deal there on that, just shoot me an email and I'll give you a code you can use to save yourself a few bucks on your order, and that'll make up the difference for you. You're going to get free shipping over $125 anyway. So if you're going to spend over $125 and you're not going to get any benefit out of the free shipping deal, shoot me an email. I'll take care of you. I'll get you a few bucks off of your order. So this week we're recycling a show we did very early on, and it's basic field stripping and cleaning of your AR. Real simple to do. How to take the bolt out, and how to take the bolt apart, and how to get in and clean. And we're not by any means tearing this thing completely down and doing a complete cleaning of it. That takes a little more time, a little more involved, a little more than you can do in a 15 or 20 minute video. But we're going to show you how to do a basic field strip and cleaning of your AR. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into that. So again, this is my 350 Legend, and since I have to separate the two halves and I got a sling on this, the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and remove this sling. And then I'm going to check and make sure I got nothing in there that ain't supposed to be in there. And then we're going to separate the two halves of the gun. For now, I'm going to set the lower aside. We're going to work on the lower later. Right now, we're going to be mostly concerned with the upper. Okay? So, now, these things can get pretty dirty, especially if you're shooting some cheap steel case tool ammo or some Wolf. Tends to get pretty dirty. And even with brass case, they get pretty dirty. So the black can really stain your hands, and it gets into your fingerprints, and it's just a mess, right? And you got to worry about, if you're doing a lot of this, you got to worry about lead absorption and copper absorption and different stuff into your skin. So this blocks some of that as well. So I feel like a doctor. Hey, okay. All right, so using the charging handle, we get the bolt carrier group out, we get the charging handle out, and you can see I purposely haven't cleaned this in a little bit, and you can see it's pretty dirty, right? Already getting some black stuff on my hands here. So you want to be careful, obviously, if you've got a scoped, you don't want to be banging your scope around. So I'm going to wipe the excess oil out of my bolt channel here. And get down in there as deep as I can. Now, this gun hasn't been shot a lot. It probably has 40 or 50 rounds through it combined. So It's not extremely dirty. I mean, these things can get really dirty after a few hundred rounds. 400 or 500 rounds, a nice day at the range. You know, you can end up with a real mess here. So they make a special tool. I don't have one that goes in to your star chamber here. It feeds through, and it's shaped just like your barrel extension, and you twist it, and it's got the sharp edges on it. And if you've got a lot of carbon built up in there, it'll help get that carbon out of there. Usually after a lot of shooting and heating and cooling, and you don't clean it for a few times, you'll start to get some carbon built up in there, and you're going to want to take that out of there. So this one isn't real bad. Like I said, there's not a whole lot of rounds through it. So this is my basic kit. You know, I've got a Real Avid Gun Boss Pro kit here, and then I've got I've had that forever. My Hoppies, right? My old Hoppies wood box. I don't even know how old that thing is. I'd hate to venture. It almost scares me to think how old that thing is, because that means I'm getting pretty old. So we'll put this all together. And what I've got here is a chamber brush. And what that does is goes in, and then it's going to knock that loose carbon, and it's going to clean out your chamber. Okay. Take a little rag here. Clean it up a little bit, right? Do that one more time. Okay, and I don't know if my camera guy can get in there down into the chamber real good, and if he can see, you know, how I've cleaned in there real good. Okay. Now, if you've got a lot of carbon buildup and you've got stuff in there that your standard brush won't break loose. Now, this kit comes with steel and brass picks and some different. I don't like to pick around in there, especially in there with anything steel. So I got a little brass, you know, and you can get in there, and if you've got carbon buildup in there, you can see, you know, this thing is just about as wide as so it's perfect for getting right into the chambers, the square chambers on the barrel extension, and cleaning any carbon out of them. I don't know if, yeah, I got a little on there. Yep, a little bit came out. And then once you broke all that free, go back at it with the brush. And then when you're done, you know, you can take a little patch or rag and clean around in there real good. In fact, you can kind of force that rag down into that chamber a little bit and bunch it up. And spin it around in there a little bit and then drag it back out. And that's going to get that chamber nice and clean for you. Now, if you want to get up in here and, you know, it's really gunked up around your gas tube, then you're going to want to take your gas, you're going to want to take your handguard off, and you're going to want to take the gas block off and slide the gas tube out and get up in there really good around that gas tube. If you've got carbon building up on the gas tube where it goes into the gas key, you know, the gas key up here, if you've got carbon building up in there, you're going to want to really do a disassembly on this thing and really clean. If you keep up on it and clean, you know, pretty regular after a day at the range, and don't leave it sit and get hard and crystallize kind of like, then cleaning is a lot easier. I had an old 22 Marlin semi-automatic that I didn't clean ever hardly until it started jamming up, and then when I had to clean it, it was a nightmare because the stuff was in there 1/8 of an inch thick. It was a mess. So highly recommend cleaning after every range outing. Yeah, cologne, right? Hoppies. I always joke about the smell of hoppies. It is the most distinct aroma, and it brings back so many memories, you know, sitting around at deer camp, everybody cleaning their guns, and everybody had hoppies, and it just, you know, that's one of them smells. When you smell it, if you're a gun guy and you smell hoppies somewhere, it's like, someone's cleaning a gun. So so that being said, right, we've cleaned out the chamber there. Now we want to clean out our bore. Is our bore dirty? Yeah, there's a little bit of stuff in there. Not bad. You know, you look up through at a light, you can see a little bit of powder, a little bit of dust. So now we need to go with our long extensions because we're going to clean the whole barrel. And again, this is where keeping it clean on a regular basis comes in really handy, and really keeping your barrel clean. Gunpowder. Today's gunpowder isn't so bad. In the old days, you know, gunpowder, and it's still corrosive. It's still very corrosive today, but it's not as bad as it used to be. So, a lot of guys use the bore snake now to do what I'm about to do. You know, they take a bore snake and soak it in a little solvent, and they run the bore snake up and down through there a few times, and then they run a dry patch through there to clean it out. So we're going to put some solvent on there. We don't want to overdo it. We'll soak a little bit of that back out of there so we don't make a huge mess. And we're just going to go we're going to get that solvent all in there. Okay, you can see, right? Pretty dirty. We got that. Now we'll take a couple of clean ones. And it's okay to let the solvent sit in there for a few minutes, do its thing, dissolve some of that powder, dissolve some of the buildup. Okay, right? And you can see we're still getting some dirt, some powder residue in there. So we're going to go one more time with some clean patches. Hey, Hammy, what's up, buddy? How's the wife? Recovering from surgery well, I hope? Okay, not bad. One more should do it. You can smell it. Yeah. As I said, it's just the most distinct smell. Hoppies, gun cleaning products are just, you know, and it just brings back so many memories of cleaning guns with my dad and my uncles, and sitting around the fire at deer season at deer camp, and everybody cleaning their guns the night before deer hunting. So now the last thing, once you've got the barrel good and clean, we'll take a quick look up through here. Yeah. We're in good shape now. We're going to put a little oil. And we're going to coat the inside of the barrel with some oil. We don't want rust happening in there. Right, you know the old saying, guns have two enemies, politicians and rust. All right, nice and clean, nice and shiny. So, when we get this all put back together, I'm going to show you a little trick my dad showed me. A lot of you guys probably know this trick already, but how to check the bore of your gun on a gun that doesn't come apart like this. How do you look through the bore? How do you check to see if your bore is clean? So when we get this all put back together, I'm going to show you a little trick. So there's that. Now, how to take the bolt carrier apart. If you've never done this before, it's very simple. I'm going to put the cap back on this. Otherwise, I know as soon as I don't, I'm going to hit it with my arm and I'm going to send solvent flying everywhere. And I'm going to make a mess. So, oop, that's my microphone. That's not my knife. There's a little cotter key right here. Right, hold your firing pin in. Just get the cotter key and knife up in there. Pull the cotter key out. I always set something, either a nice white towel down or something that's really highly contrasting so I can see all my little parts. Okay. We'll drop the firing pin out. Then this cams out, right? This pin cams out, pulls out, and then your bolt comes out. All this for easy cleaning. Now, if you're really going to do an in-depth cleaning and you're really going to you want to get down in here, it's a great tool from Real Avid that's made just for this, and you drop this in here and you tighten this screw down and it depresses your injector and you pop the pin out and your ejector comes off, the pin comes out, the spring comes out, everything comes out of there, and you can really do an in-depth cleaning. This is a great tool because it just does so many different things for you. It does this, it holds your bolt here, it holds your lower receiver, it holds your upper receiver, it holds your charging handle. This is, for knocking front sight post pins out. This is about a $35, $40 item that you can buy at most sporting good retailers online, and it's just an invaluable item to have. We sell these in our full build kits and our A2 upgrade kits. You get one of these in every kit, and this is just a great piece of equipment to have. What's that? In our toolkit. Yeah, you're right. The not the full build kit itself, but the full build toolkit and the A2 upgrade toolkit. So just now we got this all apart, and you can see, my hands are getting pretty yucked up here, right? And this would all be on my skin if I wasn't wearing gloves. So I'm going to wipe my bolt down real good. I'm going to use my screwdriver again to poke the rag in there, bunch it up, and then I'm going to spin it a few times to get it to swirl around in there. I'm going to do the same thing from the other end. I'm going to bunch that rag all up in there, and then I'm just going to spin until the rag spins in the hole. Okay, you can see quite a bit of stuff came out of there. This is going to be one of the dirtiest parts of your gun because obviously this is where all of the action is happening. Now, all your gas blows back into your gas key, so that's going to be one of the dirtiest places. Take a little solvent on a Q-tip. See what I mean? That's really dirty. There's a lot of stuff in that. If you don't keep that clean, it's going to build up in there real fast, and then you'll start to have cycling issues. So, a clean gun is a happy gun. And a clean gun usually performs well. You can use the Q-tip in a lot of places to... You can see, like I said, you know, this is one of the dirtiest areas of your gun. Everything in here tends to be extremely dirty. Right? And it seems like at times you can just keep cleaning and cleaning and cleaning, and you just keep finding more and more stuff. Yeah, see, that's really bad in there. A lot worse than I thought it was. And some of that's oil. I keep my guns lubed up pretty well, so the oil gets pretty dirty. It's starting to come out cleaner now. Okay. We'll wipe the pin down, wipe our pins down. Check your firing pin for damage, right? Make sure you still got a good tip on it. It's not mushrooming out. Make sure your back of your head's not mushrooming out. Okay, and this is, like I said, basic field strip and cleaning. So, you know, we're not going to take the gas rings out, and we're not going to take the ejector all apart in this video, but there is certainly an opportunity and a time to do that. Back to the Q-tip. Put a little solvent in there. Sometimes these Q-tips have a little too much on them. You take a little bit of the stuffing off the end of it, and then you can get in some places that it normally wouldn't go. Okay. Make sure your gas rings are free. They're not, you know, if they're not free and moving and that you can't squeeze them, then it's probably time to really take this thing apart and clean underneath the rings and around the ring seals. But these are pretty free. You said there might be 50 rounds through this gun total. And you'll look at it and you'll see, sometimes it seems like you can, the more you clean, the more you find, right? Okay. And then we're going to clean the charging handle. Okay, and the last thing, if you've got a lot of rounds through it, you know, sometimes you'll get your spring and buffer will get pretty dirty. Pull your spring and buffer out. This one isn't bad, obviously. Like I said, you know, there's not a whole lot of rounds through this, so it's not very dirty in there. Oh, I just lost my feed. Uh-oh. Now I got to go back in. I logged myself out. Bear with me for a second. And there we go. And there I am. All right, I'm back. Okay. So, and if this thing, you take this apart, take the spring off your buffer, and you can just run your spring, spin it through a rag, get the rag between there, and just spin it, and that's going to clean that for you real well. There's just nothing there on this one. Very clean. Takes a lot to get the dirt back and grime back in there. Takes a lot of shooting. Okay, so now we're going to put this all back together. And if you on a good thorough cleaning, you're going to want to take your spring or your trigger out, take your trigger components out. Again, there's not a whole lot here, and I give this a basic wipe down. Okay, we're going to put this back. There I am with my solvent open again, just waiting for a disaster to happen. We'll put a few drops of oil down here along the spring. And a few drops of oil on our trigger components. Check, make sure we didn't do anything crazy. We still got function. Okay. Now we're going to start reassembly process. So we're going to oil up our rings. Oil up our seating surfaces. Okay. So the right-handed gun, right? You always want your ejector pin to the left and the ejector itself to the right when you're looking at it from this direction, right? The right-handed gun. Okay. We're going to drop our cam pin back in. Turn that. Pull it forward. Drop our firing pin in. Put our retainer back in. Okay. Put a couple drops of oil on the back side of our firing pin. Work the oil in real good. So, quick check on our gas tube or our gas rings. You want to know if your gas rings are worn out and need replaced. Okay. You should be able to stand that up, and under its own weight, it should stay up. If it under its own weight, now see, that's starting to get there. This bolt was not brought new for this gun. I transferred this bolt from another gun that I had. So it doesn't take, see, I can push down on that very lightly, and it's starting to, oh, see, it just almost wants to start, right? So not going to be too long. I'm going to have to replace those gas rings. If you set this down like this and it just goes into a closed position under zero force, under its own weight, then it's time to replace your gas rings. So I'm getting real close to having to replace the gas rings in this thing. Okay. I'm going to put a couple drops of oil in my charging handle channel. I'll drop my charging handle in, work those couple of drops of oil in, put a drop of oil in my charging handle, a little oil. Okay, a little more oil. Oil is always a good thing, right? These things need to be oiled in order for them to function properly. And you just work that back and forth a little bit, get that oil spread around in there. Put a drop here. Ooh, she's slippery now. She wants to come flying out at me. Okay. Put everything back together. Everything functions as it should. And we'll put our sling back on. And there you have it. Just a basic field stripping and cleaning, re-oiling. Nothing too elaborate, but you got a nice, fresh, clean gun ready to go back to the range and rip a few hundred more rounds. So, and we always want to, I'm going to put everything away back where it belongs. Take all my dirty stuff out. Yeah, I think I may have gotten this cleaning kit as part of a Christmas present when I was a teenager, maybe. That's how old that thing is. About 30, 40 years ago, maybe 40 years ago, 35 years ago. Okay. Okay, get the rags out of the way, get my knife put away. Guy in the office asked me the other day, he says, "You got your knife on you?" I'm like, you don't ever ask a hillbilly if he has his knife on him. You just say, "Give me your knife." It's always on me. Whew, my hands sweat inside these things. The nice thing about having a piece of paper here, something like this, newspaper, whatever it might be, you take all your dirty, junky stuff, and it's ready for the trash. One neat little compact package. That's it. Quick little 15, 20-minute cleaning, and you know, do that 3 or 4 times. Every 3 or 4 times you do that, you want to do a really good deep cleaning. But this is definitely adequate for, you know, a day at the range. Get it cleaned up and ready for another day at the range. So I'm really excited for deer season this year. I know I'm going to do some bow hunting, but it's going to be really hard for me to want to shoot a deer in bow season because I want to go out hunting with this thing. I've never hunted deer with an AR before, and that was part of the reasoning behind building this thing, was because now they allow straight wall cartridges here in Ohio, and I wanted to hunt with an AR. I wanted to hunt deer with an AR, so I built a 350 Legend just so I could do that. So I'm really excited to do that. You know, if I see a nice monstrous buck, obviously in bow season, I'm not going to let him walk. But so I haven't made out October's schedule yet. I just got the email from the marketing people today to fill out the schedule for next month. So I'm not 100% sure what next week's show is going to be. If you got any ideas for shows, you want us to do something, let us know. We'll be glad to work it in. We are starting to recycle some of the shows we had earlier. When we only had 100, 200 members in the room, now we've got over 1,200. It's really nice to see the community growing and guys coming in and guys showing off their stuff, guys offering advice, guys asking questions. We love that. We love that kind of stuff. We love helping out where we can and when we can. Hi, Marcy. All my campground friends coming in to see me. So we don't have any giveaways going on right now. We probably ought to think about maybe something for Halloween or something. It's always nice to have the interest, and it drives a lot of traffic and drives a lot of great conversations. So maybe we'll figure out something to give away for Halloween. And don't forget the deal this week: free shipping on everything in the store, anything and everything. If you buy over $125, you're obviously going to get free shipping anyway. Just shoot me an email. Let me know you want to put in an order bigger than $125. There's a contact me right on the website. I'll give you a code that'll get you a little something off of your order to make up for the fact that you're getting free shipping anyway. So appreciate you guys coming in. We had a nice crowd today. There was 12, 15 people in here. It was nice to see a nice little crowd. And we'll see y'all next week. And remember, you don't have to be an expert to build your own AR, to upgrade it or maintain it. We're here to help you do that. Bye.